Hi you guys, I got this stamp set the other day from Flamingo Scraps, and it's the Heidi Swapp's memory file clear stamps. Anytime I can find a stamp set with Heidi Swapp's signature on it or her handwriting on it, I'm all over it. I'm not kidding. But today I'm going to focus on this little camera charm. Or stamp. The other day, or about a month or so ago, Gina shared with us, Scrapinology, a technique that she used with this clay for making these tiles, and I had bought the clay but I never used it. So today I decided I'm going to make some little embellishments for my scrapbook pages, and these are little cameras that I used that Heidi Swapp stamp to make. So let me show you how I did them. They're super cute, very fun, and easy to make, and this is something you could do with a child easily. So this is how I did it. So you're just going to pinch off a small amount of the clay, and you want to make sure this clay stays closed up because it is air dry clay. So you want to make sure you keep it sealed really tight, and I have it inside of a Ziploc bag after I seal it down. Also on my workstation is a paper towel that I have moistened with a little bit of water, and what I do is when I pinch off a big chunk of clay to work with, I usually take whatever I'm not using at the moment and I cover it with that paper towel and put it to the side, and that keeps it from drying out on me. Now you want to knead your clay really well. This clay feels like it's got a little bit of silicone in it. It's very spongy, very lightweight, perfect for your scrapbook pages because it doesn't really weigh anything. So I'm going to take it, roll it, get it kneaded really good, get it good, soft and pliable. It's fun. It's almost fun to play with. It's very therapeutic. So I'm going to just roll it into a ball, and I have a clean mat here, and this mat is dedicated to clay, so I know there's no ink on it, that it's not going to lift any ink up onto my clay because I'm dealing with white clay and I don't want it stained. Then I have my bone folder, which I have taken alcohol and cleaned it up so it's good and clean, and I'm just going to press it into the clay. And I'm going to get it, as thick as you want it. It doesn't matter. It's your embellishment. But I will say that this clay is very soft even when it dries. So sometimes a little bit thicker might be better, simply because it's easier for you to work with it without it crumbling apart. And then I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to ink it up with some Archival ink. You could use StazOn if you wanted to. I prefer Archival because it's not as sticky. Archival does take just a minute more to dry, but that's okay too. So I'm going to ink my stamp up really well, and I'm just going to stamp it right into that clay. And I want to make sure you don't want to press too hard, but you want to make sure you get good even coverage. And I'm going to lift it up. Now be real careful when you lift it, because this clay is wet and you don't want your impression to smear. So then I'm going to take this and very gently, I'm going to lift it off my mat. And I don't want to warp it, so I'm going to just be very careful with how I lift it. Then for purposes like this, I have some just packaging that I'm going to just set this on and put it to the side and let it air dry. Now it usually takes overnight for it to air dry. So I've got one that's finished, so we'll finish it up with this. This one is all dry. I just make a whole batch of these and set them to the side. Another thing that you can do is you can stamp it after it has dried. The downside is you don't get in the impressions from the stamp. When I run my hand over this, and I don't know if you can see it. I know you can't feel it, but I don't know if you can see it. But the ridges from the stamp are included in the impression when you do it while it's wet. So I like that because it kind of adds to the dimensional feel of it. But you could make a bunch of these little discs up and stamp them after the clay is dry. Then you're just going to take a pair of scissors, and it doesn't matter which type you have. This clay is super thin and it's very easy to cut through. It cuts like butter. And you're just going to trace out around that design, and I like to cut the bulk of this off before I go around and do the detail around that circular part. I like to cut all my straight edges first. It just makes it cleaner. So there you have it, cute little embellishment, and you could come back with your crocodile and punch a hole in it if you wanted to and make little charms out of them. This one is so small I'm probably not going to do that because, like I said, this clay is very fragile and I don't want it to tear up. Now, another little element that you could add to this is you could trace around all the edges with some black soot distress ink, or you could go back and color it with a black Sharpie or something like that to get it good and solid on the sides. But I'm going to leave mine just like it is because I kind of like the white on the sides of the camera. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this little tip. Thank you, Gina, for the idea for the tiles, and hope I've given you something else to think about. I'm going to go on and make some other embellishments out of the other stamps that I have, and I'll share with you when I make them, you know, what I'm doing. I'm thinking rulers and clocks might be next. So thanks for watching, and please leave me comments.